In this section, we will continue building our login authentication system. In this video, we'll start off by creating some APIs. So we have our Angular application and we want to build the backend. I'll start off by creating some new folders. So in the root, I'll create a new folder called server, and in there in here I'll paste in some basic Express code, and I'm just requiring some node modules, Express, body parser, mongoose, and all of that. And here I have a route which will serve the file. Alright, now we need to actually add all these modules to our package.json, so we'll do that. Should have done that before, but alright. And I'll do an npm install save express body parser mongoose, and those should install. Alright, we also need to add npm script. So in my package.json, I'll add a new npm script server which will node-mon the app.js. So we'll save that, and I think we're good. Let's actually run this. So I'll go to my terminal. I first need to do a build because we are referencing to the dist folder index.html. We don't have this because we did not do a build for our front end. So I'll do an ng build first, ng build, and I can do npm run server. Alright, I have an error because it says it cannot find a module config, and that is because I required config here, but there is no config in my folder. So I'll create a new file, config. Now config is just a file that I want to have to keep all of my configurations in. So I'll do that, module export, and I want to export mongo URL. This is a string, and that is mongodb localhost port is 27017, and then the name of the database, let's call it login auth, and that should fix the error. Let's go back and see, yes, we are listening on port 3000, so that's great. Next, now that we have our app.js set up, let's actually create some routes here. So I'll start off by creating a register route and then a login route. Both of them will be post requests. So I'll do that quickly. Alright, so I created two new routes, register and login. We could have called it auth register and auth login, but it's okay. Now, what we want to do in register is we want to create a new user. So for that, we need to create a model. So again, back to the server folder and create a new folder here called models, and in here create a new file, server.js or user.js. Alright, now inside here we want to create a new user model. So first we want to require mongoose. So I'll say const mongoose require mongoose, and then we want to create a user schema. So I'll say const user is mongoose.schema, and this is a function. We need to create a user schema, so let's do that quickly. Our user object will contain a name, an email, password, and a created @. Now name, email, and password, all of them are string, and even created @ is a string, so that should be simple. And I forgot I need to add a new keyword here because, right, and I'll paste in a schema. And email is of type string, it's required and it is unique. Name is type string, required, and password is type string, and created @ is a string. So that is our schema. Alright, so now we want to export it. So say module.exports is mongoose model, and the name of the model, which is user, and then the schema, which is user. Great, so this is good. Now we can import this in our app.js. User require models user, and then we can just use that in our register. So we will be getting our data from our request body. So let's actually construct that. Is new user, and here we want to give the name as, I think we named it full name, so I'll say I'll copy this a couple of times, email, password, and we don't need created at because we gave it a default time. It will be created automatically. Great. Now we have the new user. You can just say new user, save, and then that will return to us a promise with the created user. So we'll take that record and we can respond, or we can send it in the response. So response status is 201 because we created a record, and then we also want to send the JSON of it. So JSON will be the record. All right, so that looks good. We'll also do the same for login. So we'll say user dot find. Now we want to find a user with an email, so let's do that. User find email to be in request dot body dot email, and we'll get it then. Actually, we want to do find one. Find one, so that will give us only one record, and we can do our regular checks here. So here we want to check if that was a record. So if not record, we want to respond with an error, and we want to send a JSON, a message. All right, we want to check if the submitted password and the password in our database are matching. So we'll do that. So we can say record dot password. We want to return a response here. We do the same. Actually, it should be not equal to, and we'll return the same response. All right, so there was no record found. We send a response if there was a record but the passwords do not match. We send the same response, or else we send last response 200 and we respond with the record. All right, so that should be pretty much it. Oh, we created login and we created a register. We also want to do one more route. I'll do that quickly here. This will be for later purposes. So it will be a get route, and that will be of users, and we want to say user find. So I want to get all the users that are in the collection, and then we do not want these two checks, we just want the one. So we are not handling the error of the database. We will do that, but for now this is good. All right, so that looks good to me, but there is one big problem here. You can see here, when we are creating the user, we are saving the name, email, and the password. Now the password is saved as it is sent by the user in plain text. Now this is a big no-no, and it should never be done. Instead, we want to encrypt the password.